All right, all right. Thank you for tuning into Trill TV. We have a great show today, of course, because we have today Kevin Edward, CEO and founder of 8 Ball Entertainment in Boston. And so, Kevin, how you doing? I know you got a lot of stuff going on. So.
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I'm busy and blessed, as I like to say.
Right.
You know what I mean? Got a whole lot of stuff going on. Was in the studio last night, man, and it's like the way that things are going for us right now. I mean, I just know we're headed for like some really great things. The music we're doing is just, it's not, it's a high level of music.
Nice.
And you know, I really want to say, and I even put it on Facebook, shout out to International Show, because the music that he's producing for us is just nothing short of amazing. You know,
so he's a new producer that you're working with?
We've been working with him for about, I want to say, almost 2 years now.
Oh, wow.
He actually did 2 tracks for Remaya, you know, my 18-year-old artist. She's been with me for a couple of years now. But she has like another one from him. Like, we're working on everybody's album now.
Nice.
Remaya's doing her album. My artist Ralphie C. He's doing his album. He's put out a couple of good videos.
I've seen a couple of them.
And you know, proud of him because he got like 8,000 views in less than, like, I want to say about maybe 3 weeks on his 2 videos.
Wow.
And he has another one dropping at the end of this month. He's a worker bee, you know. He gets it in. It took a while, but he understands the game now. You know what I mean? So he gets his work up and says, this is what it is, and you know, I put this effort in, and he brings it to me, which is what it takes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to do your end. People get it confused. Me being a manager, and I wear a lot of hats with my company because it's called 8 Ball Entertainment because it's an entertainment company. It's not just a record label.
Oh, okay.
It is a record label, but it's also, we do artist development, which a lot of people don't do.
Right.
We recently signed a couple of producers, young producers. One of them's out of Atlanta, so we're doing this project called the Boston Project, which is basically the bridge of music between Boston and Atlanta. I mean, Maya did a track with King J, which is, that track is a force. It's called In My Bag. Gets a lot of good feedback from everybody. So the company itself, like I said, we're not just management, and the management portion is really a thing where I feel like people need to get educated as far as what the roles are with different people and different, because a lot of these artists feel like management is supposed to pay for everything, and I've said this 8 million ways till Sunday, but we're not supposed to pay for studio time. We're not supposed to pay for your clothes. We're not supposed to provide you with transportation. We're not supposed to. The manager's job is to manage business. And if you can't allow him to do his job, and you're listening to people who have nothing to do with the game, have never done anything, and you've probably seen some of my rants about this on Facebook.
Yes, I do.
Because it's really aggravating. And the reason I find it aggravating is because you have put these kids in positions to be successful.
Right.
There were 2 groups that basically I got to the golden door, as I like to call it. And it seems like every time somebody from this city puts their hand on that doorknob, somebody tells them something to mess them up. They get inside their head, you know, they give them all kinds of wrong information, they get misinformed, and it's money, I should be getting paid, and it's like, you gotta earn your way up to it.
Yeah, it takes time.
And you have to have, basically, you have to have receipts in the game now. You can't just think, well, yeah, you know, I'm dope, so somebody give me money. You know? I'll never forget, there was, I was doing a show, and I was basically selling slots to the show. And, you know, I was talking to this rap artist. It was funny, and he said, well, you know, I get paid to do shows. I don't pay to do shows. I said, okay. I said, that's fine. So I went back and forth with him for a minute about it, and I said, it's a chance for you to perform in front of people. It's a chance for you to showcase your talent, show your art, show what you do. And he, oh, nah, man, I don't pay people. So then I said, okay, well, and I made up some name. I said, I have this artist coming to town next week. I said, the tickets are like $15. You want to buy a ticket? You know what he said? Why would I do that? I don't know who that is. So this is what I'm saying. The thinking is it's looped. It's right. Backwards. And you know, I'm really to the point where I want to educate people about what the business is. Yeah. And it's constantly changing. Okay. You know, recently found out that Facebook is going to start placing on the Billboard charts.
I didn't know that.
That's gonna happen. So when your video or your work is on Facebook, there's going to be something that shows on Billboard that it charted on Billboard.
Wow, so that's deep. That's new. That's new.
Yeah, stream wise, okay. The value of streams is starting to decrease. So it's gonna get you get no money for streams.
I know, it's like a fraction of a penny.
Right. So you might as well start going old school and selling your music out of the trunk of your car.
You can do better, and you know I don't know everything about the business, but you'll do better because even if say you only sold 100 CDs at $10 a pop, that's $1,000 right off the rip. Right. Whereas it may take you years to get $1,000 from Spotify because you're only getting a fraction of a penny.
You're getting pennies, and it's really the industry is so service driven. So here I am in a situation where over the last we had a deal with AMG Sony that was for a year, and now that deal is for 3 more years. And 4 albums. Ooh. So, you know, they've extended that, which is great for us. Yeah. And it's not just people on my label that I can give distribution. If I think you're dope, I can give distribution to any artist.
Anyone you want.
Anybody that I feel as though the music is noteworthy, I can get distribution for. However, you know, it's about self-investment and it's a service. Right. So I tell people all the time, call the label and find out how much it costs to put a single up and see what they tell you. Okay, so here I am in Boston, so I get tired of people. We gotta work on the industry and bring the industry to Boston.
You're doing that.
There's business here. Right. You know, that's what I'm saying, it's a business. So get out of the mindset that, you know, well, he's just from Boston too, so I'm not gonna, you know, he just wants my money. It's business, and that's why you do contracts and paperwork and things of that nature, to make sure that the business is sound. You don't just pay people money without any kind of documentation to back what they told you. So what we promise people is the exposure or marketing at a higher level. Right. That's what it is. Right. And
more than an artist can do themselves all by yourself. It's not humanly possible for one artist
Movie
to do
placements, television placements,
that's huge.
Licensing. This is a broad spectrum of things that you can do with music. Right. And that's a way to help it monetize as opposed to selling streams or having streams and views and hoping that, you know, it's you have to take your business to that level, to a whole nother level. Yeah. So with my company, that opportunity for you is there. My thing is, it's there, but you don't have to take it if you don't want to. Continue on the lines that you're doing. Listening to people who know nothing about the business, and you know that's where you're gonna stay. Yeah. As for us, we're doing well, right? And there's a lot of good things to come for this company. Like I said, we were at the studio last night. Tawana, who had been away for a while, she's back with 8 Ball now. We made a club banger last night, man, and I was sitting there like, this is the record right here.
She's a great singer. She's phenomenal. Incredible voice.
Yeah, and it's just a natural vibe for her. It's a natural thing for her to do. Yeah. So it's her, like I said, it's Ralph, Ralphie C. Nice. It's Keese, who is Ralph and Keese are actually doing solo projects. Okay. But they're also members of the group Blue Hill. Now, Blue Hill is being revamped. Okay. Changes had to be made. It's an interesting story about it, but there were people still trying to use the name.
Oh, really? And that's your name, though.
Yes, of course it is. I created it. Right. I have screenshots and documents and paperwork to back that up. Right. So the real Blue Hill will be released on 8 Ball Entertainment label. Nice. They have 2 songs coming out. International Show produced 1. The other one is produced by Herb Middleton, former producer for Bad Boy Entertainment. Wow. So, like I said, we're working with some really phenomenal producers. There's some new ones out of Atlanta. And I'm really trying to keep a lot of the business low key because of the way that people move here.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And unfortunately, that's how you have to be, but that's what it is. And people need to understand, you know, when you are out here doing business and they try to do something shifty, there's a line in a level of people that you do business with. The people at a certain level will go, yo, you know that dude hit me up after you brought him here and tried to do side business with me?
Wow.
So you get hip to that fact. You
and
know.
Boston is small. Like, how do you think you're gonna get away with that? And
yeah, but it's like, you know, you get a lot of negative shade thrown at you when you're doing positive things.
True.
I myself don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I don't worry about because you know we have a lot of what I call, you know, keyboard gangsters. You know what I mean? You can type what you want, you can say what you want,
right.
but you can get slapped live on Facebook too. You know, and that's just the reality.
Yeah.
So I don't concern myself with that because first and foremost, I'm a grown man and I'm about business. All that other stuff don't matter to me.
Right.
It's just about being positive, staying in my lane, minding my business, and doing what I'm doing. Now, most of the shade I get comes from people that were here and had to be removed or got cut off because there's protocols and things that you can and can't do. You know.
Right.
There was a situation, like I said, people got to the golden door, but you can't act like you're a celebrity or a superstar if you haven't done anything to get that status.
Right.
Locally don't matter, your Facebook friends don't matter, your family don't matter, and you have to impress people who don't know you.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
That's where the accolades come from. You can walk around telling people how good you are, how dope you are, but if the public isn't telling you that, the public at large means nothing.
Right.
So
public at large at that level, most of them don't know you exist at that point.
Right. And then there was a lot of work, or there is a lot of work that goes into marketing these groups and these acts and everything else. The group I've tried so many times to do girls groups.
Yeah, I remember.
I have something in the wings that I'm working with. They're young.
Good.
We're gonna see what happens. But
do you feel that you had a little more drama with the girl groups? Is that what it's been, or no?
I want to say yes.
Okay.
I want to say yes.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be solo. Everybody wants to be. Everybody wants to be the main one. Everybody wants to be. But I think with these three, they're young and they're kind of influencing them now.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. You know, that if it works out, it's going to be a pretty good project.
Right. I appreciate that you bring that back. The groups, the R&B groups.
Well, yeah.
Singers. I like that.
Well, the whole thing with me right now, and I go back to what the history in this city. It was a very rich R&B culture here. There were a lot of groups back in like the 80s, even in the 70s. Yeah. I mean, it's funny, you look back at the New Edition movie, it kind of touched on that, the Untouchables. Yeah. Then there was like Perfect Gentlemen.
I remember.
Of course, New Kids on the Block, New Edition. There was the group I was in, Something Smooth, back in the day. And I actually am going to be doing a project, but it's not going to be the same as it was back then. It's going to be more of like a band with vocals type thing. So we're bringing that stuff back.
That's dope, because I think a lot of people don't know that you started out as a singer.
Right. I started singing in church when I was probably about 4 or 5.
Really?
I was with a gospel group called the Little Israelites.
Oh my God, that's adorable.
And it was like, you know, there was the Israelites and we were the Little Israelites. And, you know, they tour churches and go around the city and go to different places. And that's kind of like where I learned how to do it. And when I got older, I got more into sports. And the older I got, you know, I still sang as a teenager, but, you know, once college came and everything else, I was just into the football, man. I loved playing sports. You know, I went to college, I played football in college and everything else. And, you know, I got my communications degree. And then I kind of got away from doing things at that point. This figures. I kind of got away from doing things at that point. And I don't believe in getting a phone call while I'm doing this interview. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It happens. You're a busy man.
So I got away from, you know, the singing and stuff and was more into sports. I did shoot wrestling for a few years before the days of MMA.
Wow.
Not to age myself, but you know, I did that, and then it was like I just kind of had that urge and that inkling to get back into it. So I'll never forget. I started letting people know I was starting an entertainment company and a management company, and I think it took like 2 weeks, and I went home for dinner. And I remember my son saying somebody was at the door, and I went to the door, and there was a line of kids.
To work with you?
To audition.
Oh, to audition, okay.
So it was like, I said, okay, wow, I must be on to something.
Yeah.
So I picked, at that time it was four boys, and I put together a group called Smooth Impact. And then we added a fifth boy. And there was a song I wrote when I was like 16 called Love Come Down. They recorded the track.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because here I am trying to push this young R&B group who does vocals and harmony.
Yeah.
And most of the shows we go to, they were hip hop shows because
Yeah,
there was nothing else in the city.
Yeah.
You know, and we grinded it out over like a 4 or 5 year period. And then we kind of reached that height where we opened up for Silk.
Oh, you did? Wow.
And we opened up for Silk, and it was like there's actually a video on Facebook called A Day in the Life of Smooth Impact, and it chronicled that day. Shows us on the tour bus, shows us going to the show, showed us interacting with Little G, like they sang for Little G, he loved them. And of course the question of the day was, well, what happened?
Yeah.
Well, once again, it's that typical age-old stuff. People who don't know anything about the business of the game start getting into people's heads. The patience gets lost, and I'm telling you, it takes a lot of patience. I myself have been doing this for almost the better part of 10 years now.
Wow, yeah.
And, you know, it took a while for me to get to this point. But, you know, I'm feeling very fortunate and blessed to be in the situation I'm in, because I have accesses and things going on that a lot of people don't have.
Right.
And that's what it's all about. It's about proving yourself, putting in the work. People see the work, and they give you the opportunities that you need to get to that next level.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, it's just a blessing to be in the situation I'm in right now. I work with Sydney Devon from AMG Sony, who's like really phenomenal on the business. Plugs us into all of the places and things that we need to go to. He's one of the dopest business managers. Commend him greatly.
Right.
Recently, I was approached about bringing Kango Kid to Boston.
Yeah.
He's doing a show called Fairy Tale Lover, and that's still in the works.
Of course.
So he'll be coming.
What type of show? Is that a reality?
It's like a reality show. It's somewhat in the vein of Flavor of Love.
Yeah.
But it's more about winning an experience as opposed to, you know, basically potentially getting booed up with them. So, and from what I understand, you know, in the talks, he's doing the first one, and there are going to be others. Like I know there was a discussion about I'll Be Sure doing it.
Wow.
Big Daddy Kane.
Big Daddy Kane. Okay. He's still my heart. Okay.
Yeah. So, but he's coming to do some promo work here in town.
Cool.
Soon, and when he comes, I'm sure we'll touch on that a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm just grinding it out and just getting to work and doing a lot, and just, you know, being a boss of my business. That's what it's all about. I don't worry about what anybody else is doing, what anybody else has to say. Just do your thing, and I'm doing mine, and that's the best way to do it. Or as Tawana likes to say, mind the business that pays you.
That makes sense. Pretty much. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, am I right? Did you used to be an engineer too?
I still do engineering work.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's something got to pay for all this stuff.
Right. Exactly.
So I keep that. I keep my grind up. You know, and it's a lot. I do both. 10-hour day with the engineering, and then it's pretty much 8 ball for the rest of the night. And sometimes it'll go till 1, 2 in the morning. You know, there's always something to look at. There's always artists to listen to. Artists send me music all the time from different places. And that's when it goes into artists hit me up that have management.
Okay.
And it's okay. We can talk about distributing and putting your record out under my label. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's about layers and levels of business.
Right.
And
that's really important too, because I think like for some artists they might feel like, oh well, I'm not sure about joining a label, or where should I go, or a lot of artists want to make sure they can own the rights to their music. Mm-hmm. So now with distribution, does that mean they still get to?
Distribution is just marketing and putting your music out.
Right.
So whatever, you make sure your business is right with the producer and the music and everything else. Mm-hmm. See, that's another thing. I get more artists hitting me up with, and the song's dope, and I'm like, well, where'd you get who produced it? Yeah. Oh, I got that off YouTube. You can't do anything with that. You don't own it. You don't have rights to it. Yeah. So. There's nothing we can do. You can go to a producer, get the beat reworked, and then we can talk about business. Right. But
or can't artists if they can buy the exclusive rights to a beat, right?
Yeah, but see, even still, I always tell people you have to be careful because there's a lot of crafty people out there. Okay. Now you'll spend $200 on there, but you don't want to invest in yourself. Like a lot of people do stuff for the way that it looks. Okay. As opposed to it being business driven. Right. And with us, everything we do is geared towards business. We don't do stuff for impressions or appearances. There's true business behind everything that we're doing. Yeah. The purpose of what we're doing right now is to get these albums done so we can get them all distributed and marketed by AMG Sony. Nice. And get potential placements in movies, television, and all of that stuff.
Everything that you can do.
Everything embodied. Everything that it encompasses. And, like I said, I met with Mark Berry last year, or the year before, I think, but he's the owner of AMG Sony. Okay. And this dude's history is crazy. This dude's worked with Kool and the Gang. Wow. Like a lot of that classic stuff. Yeah, yeah. I think that if I'm not mistaken, there's an old record called... Funky Mama, what is it? Funky, Michael Jackson says "Mama say, Mama say." Yeah, that's an old record, and I think Mark Berry was actually the guy who mixed that record. Wow. So he's been in the game for a long time, and he's definitely doing things to put artists in great positions to make money and generate revenue. Yeah. So it's a piece of business that I brought here to the city. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of producers that I've reached out to recently, a couple of DJs that I've reached out to, and hopefully with COVID numbers starting to drop and things opening back up, I'm going to start an R&B circuit, which is going to consist of about maybe 4 or 5 venues in New England where people with that sing can go and perform. Sing, play instruments, bands, live bands. You got a couple of spots, but I'm trying to do something to draw the younger people in, but I'm also doing stuff for older people as well. Because there's a market for particular kinds of music that you just don't get anymore, and that's what you look at, supply and demand. So that's why I'm taking things to the level I am with the older artists and bands and things like that, because there are people that are over 35 that want to hear that stuff. Right. You're not getting anything new. You just have to keep listening to the old vintage, Yeah,
you have to go back and listen to all the old school stuff if you want to hear any R&B or anything or like a real band.
So what we're doing is this, and I can't give away the formula, but we created a brand of music called NEOS Music, which stands for New Era Old School. Okay, I like that. So there's a lot of spices and infusions that are going on there, and everybody's gonna hear that this summer. It's and there are those that know what it is because they've heard it, because that's what I've been doing for a while. Okay. But it's just gonna be dope when we drop all this music on people.
I'm sure it is, because I remember I've heard you say before, and I tend to agree with you that like Boston is not. We love rap, we love hip hop. But that's not. It didn't start here. So you've always said we're kind of more of an R&B.
Right. That's the history of the city. There was back when there was places here. There was a place a long time ago called the Sugar Shack. Hibernian Hall over here was. James Brown and the Famous Flames played over there. Oh wow. There was groups like Tavares. Yeah. So it's like I said, that evolved, and it seems like once hip hop came out, everybody was trying to duplicate it. Yeah. But in different regions, they created their own. Like, look at what L.A. and Compton and California did. Then look at what Atlanta did. You know, and then it's basically like the South. The South had something to say, so there's a vibe there. Here, it's almost like they don't manufacture here, really. You know, it's really like they either copy or they, you know, wait to see what the next hot sound is, and I'm gonna make a song like that. And it's oversaturation of the same thing.
Right.
You know, and I'm always giving an artist that analogy where it's like, you know, in a bowl of 100 goldfish, you want to be that goldfish that has the 2 spots on its back because you'll stand out from everybody else. Be original. Stop duplicating what you see everybody else doing. Because every rapper tells you how hot they are. Every rapper tells you they're better than the next. I even went as far as to say, you know what? I hear that from so many rappers. Every rapper that says that, bring $200.
I remember that.
And I want 20 of you. And we're going to do this competition, and the winner is winner take all. I got 1 response.
You only got 1? I remember when you put that out there.
Yeah, but see, that's really saying, I mean, just prove yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, I'm not, my thing with rap and hip hop in general, it's like, I love hip hop music. You know what I mean? But it's like for everybody to be all braggadocious about how good they are and how dope they are, let's prove it. So, you know, I am going to do a show called Battleground, which is going to be a rap-oriented, rap competition type show. You know, it'll be a battle each other.
I like that.
And then it's going to be do your skill set. We're going to see what it is. Then I'm going to do a show called The Skill Set.
Oh, all right.
Which is also basically going to be not necessarily a battle type show, but it's going to let people compete for album placements, distribution, cash, you know. So these are all things that we have in the works locally here for the TV market. It's going to probably start off on Facebook or you know, or Instagram, but we're gonna take it to the next level. You know, I have a movie project that I keep having to put off, but it's coming, called Bumpy's Revenge. It's a script I wrote. And I can't wait to get started on that. I've been that's kind of like a vision I've had for like years. The storyline's crazy because it's kind of like I don't want to say it's a murder mystery, but it's really like at the end, everybody's like, oh, you know, like damn, oh wow, like you know the way it's gonna end. So I'm just just excited about like everything that we have going on. So for anybody out there that think we slowing down or you know they stopping it by talking negative, it ain't happening. We're doing
on your radar.
No, it's not. It's not. You know, you get that. Oh, I hear so and so, and it's just like it's really whatever. You know, I'm not focused on that. You know, I'm just focused on being positive, and I'm telling you, if you've done anything or said anything and I know about it, don't try to approach me like it's all good. It's gonna be really embarrassing. I'm just being a realist. It's not gonna be good for you. It's not gonna be a good look, so don't do it. You know, because I'm to the point now where, in terms of the artists and everything, they have such a great opportunity right now. I'm protecting them.
You should, you have to.
I have no patience for anybody ruining any more opportunities for anybody. No.
That must be really frustrating though, because you know, you see someone, you see their talent, and you take the time to nurture them and give them artist development, which, like you mentioned, they're not really doing that anymore.
Nobody does that. And see, that's why things happen for me the way they did, because they said, we see what you're doing. And you're consistent and you're constantly doing it. Like somebody falls off, there's somebody else. So, you know, and I always laugh with the artist that says, well, you know, I've been with you for like 2 weeks. We ain't making no moves. It's like, okay, what do you think is going to happen in 2 weeks? You know, so, yeah, but everything with us, like I said, it's evolving and it's doing well. And, you know, I'm just looking forward to the summer of this year.
Yeah.
We definitely plan on doing a festival and a couple of other things.
Well, I believe in these artists more than they believe in themselves, because I'm telling you, because I think you're dope, and I believe if you go in there, you're gonna knock it out, and you're gonna get the offers that they're offering.
Right. But see, you know something, Patton? Like, I've seen artists that are like really, really phenomenal. Like, and honestly, they're like, no, I just do this too because I enjoy it. Because that whole business aspect of stuff sometimes can take the joy out of it for people.
Okay.
Or they get in the game and they're like, this is too much. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Some people, you get what you want, and it's like, you know, I've had people who, I want this so bad, I want this, and then I start talking about what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll show up at one of our rehearsals.
Yeah.
And they go, oh wow, like this is a lot.
This is for real.
Yeah. So when some people get to that point where stuff is real, they panic. They they don't know. I mean, that's just the game in itself. You know, it's kind of like somebody gave you $1 million. You can get anything you want. Your brain goes, well, what do I do first?
Oh, they become overwhelmed because because like I was saying, I don't do music, but I'm around it, and I know artists that I think are so talented, and then sometimes I tell them about things and they don't show up.
It's a comfort zone thing.
Okay.
And I always use that analogy about, like, you can be like, let's say you play basketball and you're the nastiest kid on your block. You beating everybody, but you haven't never left that block. And there's a kid that's 2 blocks over that people are talking about that's just as good. So do you stay where you're comfortable and everybody says, yeah, you're the guy, you win all the time, or you're gonna go challenge that kid with the potential of knowing in your mind that you might lose that basketball game? It's a possibility.
Wow.
So you go, well, I'm good here. You know, everybody tells me how good I am. I'm just gonna stay here.
Like what does they say? A big fish in a small pond.
Right.
Like
Right. Yeah. See, and that's what I always say that too. Well, if they want to stay in the pond, let them. I'm jumping in the ocean. I got stuff to do. There's a lot to see out here.
Right.
So I always look at people that are like talented. I've talked to people that are talented. Yeah. Or what kills me is when I talk about the distribution.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really want to sign, and I'm like, you're making a bigger deal out of this than it is. Nobody's taking your independence from you.
Right.
Nobody's taking anything from you. You're still an independent artist. I'm just giving you distribution, which is a service that you must pay for. You know, it's a business, and people do business. The purpose of doing business is to make money.
Yeah.
So even to the point where I've said, I know you don't have XYZ amount of dollars laying around. We can do an agreement where you pay on time.
Well, that's
and you can work on it. Yeah, you work on your project, pay on time. If the payments are done on time, when the song is done, we'll distribute it. I want to do compilation albums for people from Boston to show the talent here.
That's amazing, because no one else would do that.
No.
No one else is gonna
Nope. And see, and then it's like, that's the piece of me that's professional. And I'm pretty even keel.
Yeah.
But see, then when people do backwards ass stuff, and I get pissed, and then I tell them about themselves, they're all shocked and surprised. But it's like, I brought this up the other day because, everybody has 2 sides. So what you bring to the game or whatever you bring out for that person, you brought it out. Because like I said, the well of patience is run very dry with nonsense.
Yeah.
I don't have time for it. It was like the other day, and I took screenshots of this too. It was funny. I got messaged by somebody who last year, all right, there was a group that I was managing, and everybody's gonna probably figure out who it is. But the whole purpose of all of this was to have AMG Sony distribute the music.
Yeah.
We did a dope song, and it was like, they hit me up the day the song was done. Well, what's up with the song? And I'm like, it's fine, it's done, it's complete.
Yeah.
Well, we want it so we can put it on SoundCloud.
SoundCloud?
And I'm like, what are you, stupid? SoundCloud, what are you talking about? We have a distribution company.
Right.
Major. This is international, worldwide stuff. It's AMG Sony.
Right, AMG Sony.
Yeah, so it's not like you're gonna, well, we got fans you don't know about this, that, and the third. And I'm like, okay, so have a listening party.
That's right, that's a great idea.
So basically, I had it with the stupidity. that day.
Yeah.
And what they were doing was listening to everybody else, trying to take it upon themselves to do business. And I just said, that's enough.
Yeah.
And I made a comment about, you're going to keep listening to people who basically are homeless and on the street.
Right.
That's like a heart surgeon getting advice from a foot doctor.
Right. It doesn't
so
make
if that's
sense.
what you want to do, that's fine. I'm done. I'm good.
Wow.
So they uploaded the song anyway, and I had to do a cease and desist, and the song got pulled down.
Wow.
So now this was a year ago. I don't deal with them, don't talk to them, and I get a message that says, oh, we want to buy that song. Needless to say, seeing as how everybody likes social media and they like the keyboard, I used the keyboard to cuss them out and told them. So, see, that stuff, honestly, and that's OG stuff. That's the kind of stuff, okay, sure, yeah, meet me, I'll sell it to you. You know what I mean? But, I just took the approach of, you were ungrateful. You didn't appreciate nothing that got done for you. What amazes me is everybody could see the movement that you had and what was going on, but you screwed it up. So basically, if you're mad at yourself. It has nothing to do with me now because I cut you off.
Yeah. Wow.
So you're going to hit me up to try to buy what you basically tried to steal from me.
Oh, shit.
That's a problem. Now, some people call me Boston Shook because there's a side of me that they've seen. Okay? I don't bring that side out too often.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I don't like going in dark places. But, like I said, the people are out here on this R&B thug keyboard gangster stuff. You don't want to do that. It's just not good for you.
Right.
For more ways than one. And like I said, I'm all about my business, moving forward, keeping it positive. But that's just stupid. And like I said at the time, I asked him, I said, you must be high. Asked me to,
Did they even try to listen to you and understand what you were explaining?
Well, let me. But see, the whole thing was, and I'll never forget. There was a day when one of them came to a meeting I had with A&R for AMG Sony, and I'll never forget. We're sitting at the table at the restaurant, and he's sitting back, and he goes, "Yeah, so this deal we got," and immediately he said, "Wait. You don't understand. You don't have the deal. Kevin has the deal."
Right.
See, that's how it works. The labels get the distribution deals. Yeah. That's it.
Right.
So, because they don't want to deal with all that other mess. Like, the distribution companies, it's our job to distribute the music. They're going to distribute your music at the highest level possible because that's how they make their revenue. So they're not just going to take your music and sit on it.
Right.
Or just do like DistroKid and upload it to all platforms. Yeah. And that's what kills me when people are like, we're uploading it to all platforms. It's like, okay.
Anybody can do that.
Anybody can do that. You paid DistroKid $20 to do what you could have did yourself, actually.
True. That's actually true.
And there's no marketing going on. And they have layers and levels to it. They do have layers and levels to DistroKid, but you still got to work that. You got to market your music. You got to push yourself. You got to go do interviews. You got to travel. Yeah. You got to do promote on tour. You have to do all kinds of different things to get your stuff out there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what it is in a nutshell. It's about business. Yeah. And it's a layer and level. Like, I'm into setting bars right now. Okay. And I plan on setting them pretty high.
Like what kind of bars?
When I say that, I mean as far as the business level goes, and the music that we put out. Okay. I'm making sure that what we put out is the production levels and everything else is just on point and up to par. We don't just put anything out just to say we're putting music out.
Right.
It's a no-no for me. We don't do that. It has to meet a certain quality.
Right.
Because that's what we've done for years, even vocally. You've heard some of the harmonies and stuff that we put on records.
The quality is amazing. And the artists you work with are talented. And then you have the quality producers and everything, songwriters, everything. Yeah. I mean, you're doing like the old school, like say like an old school record label, like Motown or something. You're really bringing it here because it's really not like that anymore. Nobody's giving anybody artist development.
Well, that's the blueprint. It's like there's a blueprint and a certain way to go about doing things. And that's what people don't understand. They're too busy social media has messed up a lot of people's thinking. It's a good tool. Don't get me wrong. It's a great tool for promoting and marketing yourself. Right. But to some people, it's the be it all of all be it alls, and it's kind of like a level of society, getting accepted, getting likes, getting friends, view me, look at me. Yeah. You know, it's sad, but that's where some people's substance lies. And it's like, well, what's the business model behind it? You can make 1 million songs with beats you got off YouTube, but can you monetize them? No. You can hope for views, you know, but you have to be business oriented and business driven to do what we're doing here. Right.
Do you think, like, before social media, do you think people kind of had a little more drive because they kind of had to do more do-it-yourself or putting in physical work? Like,
see, the thing with social media, it's the access. Okay. You know what I mean? And you can hit a button and you can reach so many people, but how many people are really looking at it?
Right.
Or how many people are going to respond? Right. And when you look at your page and you see all your little social media friends and everything, how many of them are really going to come out and spend money to support you?
Right, exactly. It doesn't really mean that much. It's good. It's a tool to use, but it's not, like you said, it's not the end all be all. And I think it can give people like this false sense of, I'm doing so great.
Right. You know? It's ego driven. A lot of it's ego driven, and it's you know, I've told artists, you might as well just print 10 tickets and do the show in your living room. Because this is the extent of the reach you're gonna have. Because you're not really pushing yourself, and you're all impressed with those same 10 people that telling you how nice you are. So that's your audience. Wow. You know, to do shows and have artists who come in without bringing supporters, it's a useless thing.
Yeah.
You know.
How would you explain? What would you tell an artist if, like, say they are talented, but they've done some shows and, you know, no one is coming out to see them? What would you, like, if you were to sit down and talk to them and say, this is what you need to do to fix this?
You have to market yourself. Okay. You have to truly market yourself and what you're doing. It's, you know, it's kind of like I've seen rehearsals more packed than shows.
Wow.
So it's like, okay. You know, and this goes back to one of the groups that I had. I come in here, there's people drinking, there's smoking outside, and it's like, okay, this is rehearsal.
Right.
This is, so they're all here for this, and you told them to come here, but you tell them to pay $10 to come see you, and nobody's there. Yeah, order at the door. Yeah. Yeah, man, you know, I'm so-and-so's man. You know, he told me, then I had people, which was funny, yeah, I'm their manager. You know, and they come and they're like, yeah, there's somebody at the door who says that they're their manager. And I'm like, really? Well, you know, one time it was funny. They had a group had gotten a car from somebody, right? And I'm like, okay, they were riding around in this limo. So the driver, he comes up to me and he says, yeah, so I'm here to get the money for that limo. I said, what limo? He said, yeah. I said, oh, well, I know what happened. I said, see that dude right there? He likes to run around acting like he's their manager and telling everybody he's their manager. He's the one you want to see. I ain't paying you shit.
So, but what now? They really thought you were gonna pay for the limo?
This was after we opened up for Big Daddy King.
Oh wow!
And we did it. Was actually I was sitting right over there, and he comes up. I said, that don't have nothing to do with me, bro. But see, this is what I mean about sideways business. Mm-hmm. You know, there was all kinds of stuff that people did that's not conducive to professionalism, and that's huge. You know, you don't just, if you got a set show or you're appearing in somebody's show, you don't just bring people up on stage.
Oh no.
You don't just, you know, if they have your music programmed ahead of time, you don't bring music and go to the sound man and give it to them. So it was just a lot of stuff like that, you know, and the thing that's sad is that was probably the last opportunity that this particular set of artists was going to get. Wow. They had a big chance before, and they ruined it. I saw them in a situation, and I said, you know what? I see the talent, but I'm going to take them this direction. Mm-hmm. But they didn't want to listen. So, you know, that's that. You know, wow. Good luck. And your window of time in this game, it's small. Mm-hmm. If you're if you're like 25, you still may get a look. 26.
Yeah.
When you start hitting like 27 and on up, it's a great area for you. And whatever opportunities and chances you get, you got to do yourself. And you better have a budget. And you better know what you're doing. And you better be willing to work with people. Yeah. Like I said, it goes back to too many people doing stuff for appearances with no business model and no real business behind it.
Wow.
So
what would you say, like, okay, when you first meet an artist and they come to you, or you come to them because you find what, like, when you sit down and tell them, I'm sure you tell them what your expectations are. Do you think they just?
Well, I'm very upfront with what the game is, because, like I said, there's that whole misunderstanding about who pays for what's supposed to happen, where you're supposed to go, how you're supposed to get there. And, you know, I'm pretty sure there's times when it's like they tell people, well, we got a show. Well, you getting paid for these shows? Some of them you will, some of them you won't. But most of the shows are so people can see you and you market your talent and they can see your wares. That's what it is. And
I've been to a lot of your shows. You've had your artists at the Hard Rock Cafe, like great venues, like you know, this is not just some.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's when it's real business, it's real business. Yeah.
And I know you told. I remember. I'm not gonna say what, but I remember you told me you had a group that you were getting them. You had them a regular gig at the Hard Rock Cafe, and then somehow they blew it. But these were paid gigs. You told me the story.
They were gonna be doing the Hard Rock once or twice a month.
That's dope.
And that's what I'm saying. Right when these opportunities come up, people just get stupid. Oh, well, we want to go do this. I said, well. Yeah. Where is this place? They mentioned it to me. It was out in the sticks of Maine somewhere. And I was just like, okay, you realize the Hard Rock Cafe, though, there's Hard Rock Cafes everywhere.
Yeah.
So whatever this place is, I don't know. But long and short of it all is that was kind of like a swan song for them. They went out there, end of story.
Now, I remember you told me that, and they felt that they knew better than you, and they felt that, oh, we're going to get paid for that. But then you told me they...
Yeah, and then I actually found out they made $20.
And you told me they had to split the $20, am I right?
Mm-hmm. Between 4 people.
That's
three people, I'm sorry. But you knew better, you know. And then there was the one who, I'll never forget, I said, you got this, that, and the third. I said, there's $500. I said, I'm gonna take out what's owed to me, and then you got this. Now, mind you, I said there's $400 left. I think it was.
Okay.
And then I said, oh, and then you have to pay. There was one more thing they had to pay. So I said, there's $300 left. So you get a third of it. Right. Everybody gets everybody gets a third. There's 3 of you.
Right.
Okay, so how much do we get? Then there was the time where it was like, I gave the numbers and I said, it was like $1,000, and I said, you get 25%. Well, how much is that? But yet you're gonna try to tell me that you know how to do business, and you you don't even have basic math skills. Right. So I was just like, wow, you know. And
it's too bad, because you really are protecting your artists. You're trying to teach them, and you're trying to protect them in the business. And if people don't understand that, because if they're working with you and you have their best interest at heart, if they go out there away from you and they're working with whoever, they're gonna get robbed.
Well, it was funny, you know, like I said, and I'm real happy she came back, but she hit me up and she was just like, listen, you know, we haven't talked in a while, because I just was all like, yep, you know, and she was like, I want to come back. Number 1, because you know what you're doing, and number 2, I can't trust anybody out here. And she went into this whole thing about how basically she was misled. But the thing that kills me is these artists are out here, and in some cases I've seen them singing and stuff like that. They've been on social media, and nobody gives a tick. They don't say nothing. So then I go, yo, you're dope. I'm gonna sign you, come over to the label, or come under management. Soon as they come under management, it's like somebody threw popcorn on the floor and shut the lights off, and all the roaches come out. You know, now all of a sudden everybody's here with the advice, telling you what you should be doing.
That's jealousy, I think.
Well, that's got a lot to do with it.
Yeah,
you know,
I think so.
and like I said, you know, a lot of people want to hang around in the shine, but don't want to do no polishing, as I like to say. So, you know, and that's just real. You know, it's sad because it ruins a lot of people's opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, when it gets real to some people, though, they can't take it. You know, when they're like,
kind of overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm. Because of the expectations of it all. Because like I deal with some really, really talented artists.
Yeah,
you know, and it was funny because Imaya came to me. Imaya was a straight dancer. I'll never forget. I had her sit with Chris Waller, the vocal coach, a few times. Yeah. She worked with him for a few months, and you know, she was doing her thing. And I remember I said, well, let's just showcase you and see where you are. You know, I think you were at that show.
Yeah, I've been to a bunch of shows. Yeah.
And the girl got up there, and her music dropped, and I was just sitting there with my mouth hanging open, like, she's only 17, and she's doing stuff we didn't even go over yet. You know, and it was just like, wow, you know, she's a force. You know, and she's gotten even better. She's developed as a songwriter. Wow. Her voice is so much better now. Tawana's a phenomenal songwriter, and she also has that it factor.
She really does.
When I walk around with Tawana,
she looks like a star.
Right? Yeah, it was funny. I always tell this story about I can't remember where we were going. Actually, we were coming to get interviewed by you that same day.
Oh, that's a couple of years ago. Yeah.
And
wow.
It was her and the girl that did her hair and makeup, and I pulled up to pick them up, and we were downtown, and I opened the side door to the van, and people were like, "Oh my God, who's that?" You know, when they came out of the bank.
Wow.
And they started taking like pictures of her and stuff.
Serious?
It was the funniest thing to me.
Wow.
And then when we went to she made it to our Platinum Studios in New York.
Wow.
And we went into Saks Fifth Avenue. So I'm walking around, you know, I got the jewelry on, and you know, and everybody, oh my God, who is she? She's beautiful. She's this, she's that. She ends up getting a free makeover.
Oh my goodness.
All this free makeup.
Right.
It was, and you know, it was just one of the best days.
Yeah.
You
She's
know?
got it. She just has
yeah,
that.
she has that. She has that whole thing going on. Her following is great.
Yeah.
Her numbers are up. Like when people ask what her numbers are, I'm like, hey, look.
Right.
You know, she recently had a clothing designer hit me up.
Wow,
you know?
I'm not surprised because she looks like a model. She's got the height, everything, the looks. She's gorgeous.
So like I said, with me right now, I'm on this real heavy thing about protecting my artists.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm just gonna tell everybody, it's not a good look to be messing with my artists. Right. You know, and I tell all my artists, when people hit you up for features and stuff like that, you got to talk to my management.
And people should know that at this point. Like, they should know to go directly to you.
Well, you know what I told everybody? That's what you say anyway, because if they hit me up, then they're probably legitimate and they're on real business. If not, then they're not who they say they are. They, you know, and then a lot of that, we should collaborate and do a feature. Most of the time it's because they just want to use you to help them get over, because they know their talent level doesn't meet what yours is. You know, I'll never forget this. This guy said, "Oh yeah, you know, we had opened up for that was when we opened up for Big Daddy Kane." Dude hits me up the next day and he says, "Oh yeah, you know, you can have him come and perform at my birthday party in a couple of weeks." I said, "It's in a couple of weeks." I said, "That's perfect. So you can give me that $1,400 deposit because it's 50% down." And he goes, "Oh, 14." I said, "Yeah." I said, "These dudes are signed and they have a distribution deal. So there's a value that goes along with what they do." And it's the same thing with features. There's a value to that. If you go around doing features for anybody,
your value goes
then
down.
Your value drops. Because it's like, you know, and all that person's going to do is, well, I got a record with so-and-so on it, and they're going to put the record out. And if you become a hot artist, basically they're going to pimp you out, and you ain't going to make no money off of the work that you do.
It's a good look for them.
So, you know, it's just... I really, really am being protective of my artists right now.
That's great.
Because, like I said, they're all in a very good place and they have a great opportunity. And, you know, it doesn't matter, like, what anybody says. you're at a level that a lot of people wish they were at.
Right.
You're with a label that has distribution and marketing.
Yeah.
That can get you placements in film and television.
That's amazing. That's everything you want. I mean, what more
yeah,
you
but
want, you know?
but you run into that. Oh, he ain't doing nothing. Like there's people basically who were doing like that whole. People try to downplay your success.
Yeah.
But after a while, that gets old, and people probably start talking. Well, why are you hating? Because every time I turn around, he's got something else going on. He's got a new artist. His company's doing well.
Right.
That's why I don't pay anybody any attention.
Yeah.
Say what you want, because I know what's going on and I know the business. What you're saying is, it goes to this. was sitting there talking to this girl who I was basically kind of doing like an interview for, trying to talk her into doing a dance show. And she was all like, well, if you're doing so much with the music and stuff like that, then, why are you still here in Boston? And I said, because I live here. That's
you
that's
live
what
here,
it is.
and also you actually want to help people here.
Right.
You do.
Right. So, it's just a situation where I hope people understand that this is not a game. It's real, legitimate business.
Right.
I've sat on some really lucrative type conversations. Mm-hmm. There's companies and organizations that I've been had talks with about certain things, tours, virtual tours.
Wow.
And it's just a whole lot of stuff.
Right.
But that layer and level does not get exposed to anybody that's not involved with the business.
Exactly. It's not their business. Literally, it's not their business.
Because what it is, it's like, well, show me what you're talking about, and then I can know it doesn't work that way. You have to show me that you're willing to work and you agree to the terms of what you're supposed to be doing to get the exposure to those things.
Right.
That's just the real reality of it. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I really appreciate you, Kevin, because even just with me, I don't even do music, but you have rocked with me since day one. I remember you saw me doing stand-up.
Yep.
And ever since then, you've supported me. You always give me the interviews, the exclusive stuff.
Right.
And it's like I said, like, too bad I don't do music. I can do it all right. But seriously, I try to let people know about what you're doing, because artists here, especially in New England, we need this. I appreciate you for bringing it to Boston, to New England, because we don't really have that industry here.
No, but we're building it.
Yeah,
we're building it. It's definitely gonna happen. I mean, hook or crook. Like I told you, there's gonna be, and there's gonna be something for the hip hop artists too. But we're just gonna take it to another level.
Right.
I still want to produce that dance show.
I remember when we were supposed to do the show. We did it. We did the Loft. It was supposed to be the Loft. We did do the one episode. Yep. And I like I said, you've always looked out for me. I really appreciate that.
And I have we got the camera equipment, we have the venue, we got everything we need. But when you ask, this is what kills me. You talk to dancers and say, hey, you want to do this dance show? Well, what do I get paid? Okay, I'm giving you a chance to go on TV. This is going to show on Amazon Prime.
Nice.
So you can do routines. And if your routines are dope, you're going to get noticed.
Right.
And we're going to play music on there.
Right.
We're going to do new artist spotlights. We're going to do top 10 Billboard type stuff.
You have the ability to do that.
But it's like, so the mindset is backwards, because people have this, well, you should be paying me to put me on type of a mentality. How do you figure? I'm putting you on a TV show. I'm giving you a TV show. I'm asking you to host a TV show, and you're asking me how much you get paid. Right. And with these things, there's incentives. It's like, okay, now if you're a host of a show, there's clothing designers that want you to wear their gear when do the show, so you get free clothes.
That's dope.
So that in itself. Plus, so after a while, how does that work? You do the show, it's running. A network sees it and says, oh, we're going to pick it up. Now you get people buying commercial time, then you get paid. It's called paying your dues.
Yeah, exactly.
Common thing, but nobody wants to do that. I'm just being a realist.
Right. Yeah, and you know the business, and you've been paying your dues, because you have to invest in these artists.
Right.
So, but anyway, thank you so much for coming on Trill TV, Kevin.
No problem.
CEO of 8 Ball Entertainment. I appreciate you always rocking with me and working with me. But again, just let everybody know like where they can reach you, find out everything you're doing.
Okay, my Instagram is 8Ball Entertainment 1, at 8Ball Entertainment 1. Of course, Facebook, Kevin Edward. You can message me. You can send me links of your music. You can do all kinds of, send me whatever it is that you do on Facebook Messenger for sure. Usually I get back to anybody that hits me up. I don't do that. I'm not that type of guy that's like, oh yeah, send me this and that, and I don't get back to you. Basically, that's all I'm going to do as far as how people can get in touch with me, because I'm getting hit a lot, and I have to start limiting my access.
Exactly. But thank you for coming on Trill TV today. Thank you everybody for tuning into Trill TV, and peace.